Hello. So over the past 3 months, we have been working on walking, which is the basis of how we need to move in tango. We purposely broke it up into individual chunks so that you have some time to practice on each individual pieces. And so today we're going to put all of them together to have a nice complete walk. By now, if you've been following along every week, some of the stuff you can kind of forget about. Just relax into the movements, and hopefully that will do it for most of you. But the way you want to practice this is to put it all together, work on it a little bit, and then forget about it. Because we want to remember there are 3 themes that we have been working on over the past few months. The first is how we map our bodies or how we think our body moves directly affects how we actually move our bodies. So we've been learning some anatomy so we can figure out how exactly, does the foot work, for example. And once you just even knowing that can change how you move. The second thing we're looking at has been releasing tension or releasing the muscle memory in our bodies that keep us from moving in a natural, graceful way. Last week I told you the story about how my spinal injury affected my inability to rotate in a particular direction. And that was because I had to learn how to release this muscle memory that I had in my spine, my back muscles, that would allow me to move in this way. So this attention can come from, as in my case, past injuries. It could be something that could be a condition from birth, something you consciously learn. For example, maybe you learned to walk a particular way because you were trying to imitate your favorite, rock star or movie star or something like that. Okay. The third theme that we wanted to really get into was about developing your kinesthetic sense, so that you can feel what's going on in your body, so that you can know, I have tension in my neck, or I have tension in my arm that I don't really need to have. And this is something you want to be able to feel within yourself. Once you can lose that tension, then you're able to receive information from your partner, because the way we communicate with our partner is through our bodies. We've also broken down our step into 4 different parts. Your extension, the weight transfer, the closing of the step, and the pivot. We're not going to go through the pivot today because that will take some more work on our spinal rotation. We're going to put our individual pieces together so we can have a nice, healthy walk. So let's start with our weight transfer, which is what we did on our very first video. We learned that our weight transfer isn't just a horizontal movement, but actually a vertical movement as well, as we want to send the weight from our upper bodies down into our leg, which is supporting the weight of our upper bodies. From last week, we learned from Carolyn Johnson that we want to start this weight shift with a rotation of the bottom of our bottommost thoracic vertebra with their lumbar spine. And as we turn that, that's going to start shifting our weight onto one leg. What we're also doing at the same time is releasing these muscles in the back to create the contra body movement. So again, we're not trying to force the thoracic into position, but we're relaxing these muscles, releasing that tension to allow the thoracic to, just stay in the direction that we want to go to. And that's how we're creating this contra body, more of relaxation movement than trying to force our body into a particular position. Okay? So, as we are making this light rotation, our femur is going to receive our weight. We haven't talked yet about the shape of our femur, so let's go over that. Okay? If you feel down near the bottom of your pelvis, you'll feel this bone right about here. and that is going to be part of your femur, okay? But the femur also goes in here. So the bone goes from in here at an angle, and then it spirals down into your leg. So the weight, don't want to quite say goes outside, but it goes from the outside and then it spirals down into your leg. And it's received by our foot, which, as we know, we have a bunch of bones in here that spring down as the weight is received. So the weight goes down through our femur, into our tibia, through our ankle bones, and it gets distributed. We use our instep to bring that big foot, the big toe down rather. So we end up with 4 points of contact on the floor. We also have the turnout of our feet. That's going to help us keep a wide base so that when we move forward, we're going to maintain our balance. So now let's talk about our extension. The extension can occur either without the weight transfer, like this, or with the weight transfer. To extend our leg, well, first we need to free up this leg. So we want to raise our torso to give space for our bones to rotate in place. Okay. So my weight on this leg, as I rotate my lumbar more, that's going to bring my leg out. We're actually just kind of relaxing our leg muscles. And when I do that, you can see how we just will naturally spiral in. So then we're going to engage, because we need to figure out where we want to go, right? So we're relaxing here, and then we're going to direct our knee wherever we want to go, whether it's forward, off to the side, or, the other side, wherever it is you want to go. So the process of this extension is you relax and then engage. I talk about leaning with the knee because, well, your femur is going to adjust as necessary for where the knee needs to go. And then this is a straight shot here from the knees to the ankles, and so your foot is going to go wherever your knee goes as well. So let's talk about how your weight is received by the free foot. Your heel is going to land first. And then the weight is going to travel from the outside, through the outside of the foot, into the balls of the foot, and finally onto the big toe. So when you're walking, you're essentially transferring one C shape, if you will, of your weighted leg in a C shape to the non-weighted leg. So next we have the closing. And again, we're going to relax our muscles. And you can see again, that is going to lift the hip drop, and it brings the knee forward, and the thigh again spirals in. And this should look familiar, right? Because this is basically the beginning of the extension again, with the knee coming forward and the hip dropping. So this is why we consider the closing of the step the beginning of the next step. Now the closing itself, we come to here, our knees together, and now at this point there's no spinal rotation. We're back to neutral. This is closing. You might want to ask, well, Trina, shouldn't your feet be together? Well, not if I want to be ornamenting. And at this point, all of my weight should be balanced on this one foot. I'd recommend practicing these things individually, and then forget about it. Because we don't walk down the street having to think, oh, I need to put my foot this way. You just walk down the street. And eventually, Tango, what you want is a relaxed walk, not one that's stiff, one that'll let you flow, because Tango is supposed to be fun. And if you're constantly thinking about the way you walk, it's not going to be so fun anymore. That's it for this week. It's taken us a little over 3 months to finally get to this point where we can walk in a healthy way, in a way that also helps our tango, and in a way that helps us communicate with our partner. But one of the big advantages of learning how to walk properly is that it helps prevent injuries. Things like boleos, ganchos, even walking backwards. And this gives us a chance to avoid some of the injuries so that you can have a long, healthy life dancing tango. Thank you for watching today. We'll see you next time.